Okay, good morning everyone, and thanks for attending. So yes, as I've been introduced, I will talk about a case study, and let's say we'll get back to today date. You know, we did a jump in the future. Let's now get back to the current date. So first of all, a little bit about me. Who am I? I thought, yeah, I can just share my passport screen so you see who I am. This is all my details. But beside my name, yes, my name is Nicola. I'm Italian. And since about 18 years, I've been helping FMCG companies, which are our clients, in improving their performances in formulation, product portfolio management, new product development, execution, product life cycle management, by delivering consulting services and solutions made of systems to improve these areas of the business. Actually, some of the brands we've been working on are displayed here. They span from F&B to cosmetics brands and chemicals. So everywhere there is let's say a process manufacturing base, this is where our competencies are coming into it. So about me, if you just want to follow me on LinkedIn or on WeChat, that's the QR code. And then, you know, I also wanted to connect a little bit on what we've seen yesterday from Diana, that I think was a very interesting presentation. So other than work, I also have a thing for motorcycles, and that will give you a little bit of understanding about my hormonal level, you know, because yesterday we've seen this research about the testosterone, which is based on your consumer preferences. So that's where we are. But you know, what is the reason why am I here today? My goal would be to actually share a success case, and the success case has been introduced. It's about Intercos. It is a OEM manufacturer. It's one actually of the biggest color cosmetic manufacturers. So if you think about you know, the main and biggest world biggest names, behind them there is in many of them there is this group, which is actually, I wanted to bring it because it's Italian as I am, and over the last 40 years they've been producing and developing color cosmetics, pencils, nails, and skincare products. It's actually quite large now. They have 11 manufacturing facilities around the world, including China, here in Suzhou. And actually, they have an impressive amount of product development activities, because as a contract manufacturer, they have thousands of SKUs to manage. They have very short development cycles, as they have a lot of seasonal products. You know, color trends are changing very rapidly. We've seen already yesterday you know, the forecast of the 2006 season for spring summer. So this company, you know, has a lot of product, has a lot of innovation. So their new product development, it's actually taken to the extreme to a certain extent, because the number of new product launch, it's far more than a consumer product in terms of B2C. So with several business units and hundreds of customers, the number of innovation projects they do, it's exceptionally high. So by having such a challenge on product development, research and development, of course, it's the foundation of the company. It's actually where most of the cost also goes. It's also it's actually the backbone. I mean, whenever a customer goes to them and needs a product, it's all about R&D work. They have to deliver what the customer wants. So, so to say, I would call it for sure a product-centric business. You know, all the business is around the product that they deliver. So how to effectively manage those processes, all the people and the processes involved in product development, with ever-changing customer needs, multiple teams spread around the world, and still maintain efficiency in these activities. So definitely you need technology to support this global innovation, and you need to integrate people and processes. That's one of the key factors. Integrating people and processes. It's actually where that was the paradigm that we have taken when we started this journey with Intercos to improve their performances in the innovation. So what we have done with Intercos is an end-to-end product life cycle solution. So starting from innovation, from conceptualization of the product throughout the entire value chain of your product, we have integrated all the processes and the people in different ways. So I want to take you throughout this journey to see what does product life cycle management means for them. To show you this, I want to take, let's say, a typical product development process that starts from conceptualization throughout feasibility, development, testing, and delivery. So we're going to see in each of these steps what are the solutions and the best practices that we help Intercos to adopt, and what type of results they got by adopting those best practices. So let's start from ideation. So ideation is a key process because there's inside ideas there's a lot of risk, but there are also potential rewards, right? So identify those in a clearly and more effective way. It's key. So we started from this and we said, okay, how we can improve the ideation process. So we created, we helped Intercos creating a more solid, this is just, you know, you probably cannot read, but we implemented a solid business process map on how to manage ideation. Ideas that come from consumer research, trends, social medias, and we collect this into a centralized kind of big data collector, and then manage a proper process on how to distribute, how to support the decision making process throughout the entire management to better go through to a selective idea and go-no-go phases. So integrating people and process throughout a more formalized and structured approach. So before, they were just having scattered processes. Every single department, whether it was marketing or sales or account management, they were just throwing ideas here and there, and there was also loss of a lot of knowledge that was lost. So now they've been able to improve this process. And then once ideas goes throughout this cycle and gets screened, ideas becomes projects. In this company, projects means hundreds of running projects, you know, several hundreds of running projects, innovation projects. So here it comes another problem. How do you effectively manage the entire innovation portfolio? So you need systems and tools to better leverage this, whether you can make better decisions, you know where the projects are, if there are critical areas in the project, what is the budget, what is the portfolio around, and you can categorize all of this. So we help them create different categories and KPIs on the project, so they have a sort of cockpit where management can easily monitor and review what's going on the innovation portfolio. But so to say, innovation and R&D activities absorb an incredible amount of resources, financially, but also human resources. The most talented people are difficult to find, and you have to properly manage. So one of the issue in when they have to accept or or plan something, it's allocating the resources, which are spread around different R&D centers, and before taking a commitment, especially when there are projects for specific customers, they have to know if they have the capacity to develop this new product. So for them, it was very important to have resource management. I mean, getting to know who is working where, and do a forecast. This project, I need to do this new color with this new trend. Who's going to work on it? How much time are we forecasting to apply? And then control whether the forecast versus the actual it's matched, because it has also a lot of financial impact. So also here there's a dashboard we built for them where all this information are managed, and in real time team leaders and management can have a look on which is the project that is potentially running late or absorbing more resources, and you can easily decide and move resources among projects. So we are still in the planning phase with these tools. We move now more into the development phase, which is again for Intercos a very important phase. There's an incredible amount of formulation activities goes with them. So moving from planning and ideation into product development, it involves a lot of formulation activities, which means selecting the right ingredients, doing research on that, performing several experiments, trials, samples, testing. Also in this part, best practices have been adopted, integrating these people and processes through tools that allows to better manage formulations, ensure the quality, reducing costs, while maintaining the regulatory compliance, which is a key essential part of this, and it's a big burden. So with such a tool, now it's just a few screenshots, but they have a centralized formulation workbench where they can, they have, first of all, they have centralized the inventory of the ingredients. So not anymore every single developer having their own inventory, their own ingredients spread around the world, but centralized. And then they are able to create formulas from structured substance list. And those substances are centrally managed so that suppliers are screened, so that quality can have an early control on those ingredients, even if you are still in the R&D. They can also run formula optimization with mathematical constraints, finding the right and optimal formula in a more automated way. And then furtherly, from formulation, you can also generate automated product specifications. So formulation and what the product characteristics are definitely connected, so that you can generate a lot of information out of your product, including then all the related documentation, product dossiers, specifications, technical data, all connected and centralized. And of course, this provides full change control. One of the key issues is also then, how do I know? I mean, is this product I have here today, which is the formula inside this? What was the ingredient used? What is the version of the packaging I use? Now they can get it in a few seconds. Everybody can easily query and understand. That's the importance of product data information, having it organized and structured in a way that you have control over it. And one important thing is when you have, you have to formulate products super fast, and you have to do maybe 15, 20 variation of colors just to provide some samples to the customer. A very important thing is also, can I use this formula in this market or not? There's a restricted list, banned substances allowed in certain countries or not in the other, with limits and so on. They can easily get a kind of traffic light report whether the formula is usable in a country or not, or even by customer, because they are OEM. Some of you who are probably customer of them have a sort of allowed list of ingredients. You can use this because I only want to do organic, so those are the ingredients I allow. So they manage in the system those lists so that R&D can easily screen the formula and provide something and eventually find issues at the earlier stage when the cost for change is lower, rather than make formulas, make products, maybe goes for testing, and then discover that you have a compliance issue, and then you have to go back again and redo the cycle, just because you discover compliance issues at a later stage. So during the design process, adopting an early compliance check, that has really impressively improved their performances. Then we move on, and let's say once they do the formulation, let's say electronically, so you define and design the formula in an electronic way, you have to create the product, you have to make it. You have to make it in the lab, you prepare, you mix, you do the product, and then you start the testing process. So once the formula is developed, samples are created in the system, they track all the samples done, they can plan properly all the stability studies, they can, and the entire laboratory notebook are centralized and connected as part of the entire product lifecycle management, so that you know what type of tests have been performed, what were the results in a second. And there is no disruption, because the entire product life cycle, from the genesis when it is just a sample and a trial formula in the lab, throughout its evolution and approval and manufacturing, all the history, it's all at hand. In terms of laboratory activities, they also do skin tests and another type of test that all these data are all collected and centralized. There are also some consumer test and panelist information that are all controlled in a central system. And this allows to, again, reuse also the knowledge. That's very important. So when R&D starts a new project, in most of the cases, in about 80% of the cases, they reuse an existing knowledge. They start from a base, maybe a color compound or a lipstick paste. They start from something that was already there. And then they extend. They maybe change an active principle. They change the pigments to make a new shiny color. But the starting point, in most of the cases, it's an existing knowledge. So the centralized, integrating people and processes into a centralized data warehouse, let's call it like that, allow to improve their innovation performances because of this knowledge reuse. So to speak then, what are the results of this product life cycle management initiative? There are some numbers. So let's see this with you. So what are the benefits with these best practices that have been achieved? So first of all, time to market. Throughout all these, little steps, little improvements, one by one, project, better managing projects and planning, improving the product development activities, all the product data, the compliance. The time to market has been reduced by 30% on average. Formula costs, because of better management of ingredients, packaging, having a centralized inventory, you can better do economies of scale in terms of manufacturing. So giving to R&D, certain constraint, but also connect with the procurement and the entire supply chain, allow them to streamline the ingredients inventory, making them purchasing ingredients better, reducing costs, and therefore the formula cost reduced by 25%. Success rate of products, with a better ideation screening and project control with staged gate approach, they have better project success rate. And that has been measured in around 18% improvement before having this product life cycle management system in place. And also, that was maybe not for all, but for them very important, the cost of innovation. So one of the pain points before was the number of projects that ran out of budget because there was no proper plan, or at the end not proper information before starting the project. So now that was a big improvement in terms of being able to close projects on time and budget, and this improved by 78%. So before there was a lot of room for improvements. And then increase on margins, which means product margins. Thanks to this reduced cost of R&D and better management of product cost, they significantly increase the margins. And another problem that they addressed and solved and got better results is connecting the product information with manufacturing. With many plants around the world, there was issues of downtime manufacturing or waste of products because of design errors. R&D were making a formula, were defining what phases, how to produce it. Then somehow throughout the information chain, it was going to another plant, and there was issues because maybe manufacturing was receiving an old version, and then R&D has changed something because they realized that they needed to reduce the temperature of the process or something. This information were not flowing, so they were having issues, batches that were failures or manufacturing downtime because manufacturing was waiting for R&D to say, tell me what I have to produce. Now with this integration of people and processes throughout product lifecycle management, they've been able to reduce these issues due by wrong design, or let's say communication or information miscommunication throughout between product development and manufacturing. So that was a big achievement for them. So that's in short what they've been able to do with today's technology. I'm sure in 2025 there will be even opportunity to do even better, but that's what today technologies and best practices can help you to do. And this is where you can gain efficiency in your innovation processes thanks to the product lifecycle management approach, which is integrating, as I said, people and process by providing a centralized platform to access all your product data information. So that's my short and brief presentation of today. If anyone has question, just ask me. Otherwise, thank you very much.
Does anyone have any questions? It's such a quiet, shy group today. But you know what I find fascinating on your background is now you're in food, right? You're doing this in the food industry?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I have a question. This is Michelle from Ghana. Actually, we do have a lot of collaboration with Intercos.
Yeah.
My question is that as a premium color cosmetic OEM, would you foresee how would you further collaborating with local companies in terms of improving the speed to market for cosmetic color cosmetic products, and also how would you see that at what level to start a collaboration instead of moving to just picking up shades, picking up the base?
Yes, yeah, that's a good question. Actually, we did already some experience, not in cosmetic, but actually with some flavor house that because they somehow do development of products together with the foods companies to create an open collaborative environment to include also the customer in this development cycle, so that you can easily flow, whatever are the requirements you provide to the OEM are easily flowing to the customer. You can share all the samples and the tests. So let's say integrating in this scenario also the external parties, so also the customer or even the vendors, in the innovation process. So expanding the product lifecycle management approach, integrating also not just the entity itself, but also the third-party actors, which is normally suppliers and customers. That's, I think, what could further improve the time to market by opening the platform also to the third parties.
Great. Okay, are there any other questions? Do you have the mic?
My question is, you use some tools, some softwares to manage the project. With this mission, did you help Intercos to develop some new tools, customized tools, or you can achieve these goals with their own tools?
But actually, as part of this, we also have we are also a technology provider. We use part of the technology we provide and also some of the technologies they already had. There was already some other system like Lotus Notes for messaging and workflows. There were also a little bit of SAP involved in this. So what we do is understanding what is existing in the enterprise, because it doesn't make any sense to wipe out everything and rebuild the entire, let's say, IT infrastructure. So normally our approach is, let's see what is the current situation as is, and maximize the reuse of what is already in there. And then if there are some gaps, introducing new tools and new technologies. But sometimes you may already have the tools. It's just more about the processes and the best practices to use those. So sometimes even you can even think about everybody use Excel, but how do you use it? It's also important. So yeah, the tools to me it's more secondary. First, it's about the processes, the people, and then you see what are the gaps on the current existing tools and what you need to go where you want to go.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Well, thank you very much. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Great company.